The numbers are in for the month of June in the Toronto real estate market, and prices have dropped. And I'm not just talking about condos. We're talking about freehold homes, detached, semi-detached, and row homes, all on average dropped for the month of June. So is this the higher interest rates over the last couple of years finally taking their toll and chipping away at these sellers and bringing the opportunity that a lot of people are looking for? Or is this just a quick flash in the pan? That's what we're gonna go over today. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As always, if you're getting any type of value from these videos, make sure you consider subscribing. And thank you to everybody who has. The channel has grown quite a bit lately, and I've had a lot of people reach out recently just going over their real estate plans or their particular homes, condos that they're looking to get some advice on. So if at any point you're watching this video, you want to get in touch with me, you can go to the first link below, like all these other people here, and you can book a call directly into my calendar and we can have a chat. With that being said, let's get right into it. So as I mentioned earlier, all property types slid in average sales price for the month of June. And again, all property types, not just condos. That seems to be the narrative that everybody's talking about lately. We're talking about freehold homes. We're talking about detached, semi-detached, and row homes all slipped on average sales price last month. And I have a lot of people who are asking me questions about the market. Even realtors are having a hard time figuring out what is really going on, because if you follow news articles, one will say prices are increasing, the next will say they're decreasing, the next one's talking about mortgage rates, and nobody really knows what's going on. You got to get into the weeds of what statistics they're talking about to figure out what narrative they're trying to push. And my goal for this video is to just break it all down for you very simply: what's going on now, what the opportunities look like over the next few months, and whether you're a buyer who's been waiting to get into the market or a seller who's looking to get the best price for their home, when is going to be the best time to make a move. So starting off with condos, okay, obviously the talk of the town lately has been that the condo market is absolutely flooded with inventory, and this is true. We have, as it stands, over 8,700 active listings in the condo market. This is the highest amount that we've ever seen in the Toronto real estate market history, obviously because they built more condos and a lot of them have closed. So there's more condos to sell than there ever has been. But that being said, we are seeing a lot of inventory. And honestly, I'm a little surprised that prices haven't fallen more. Prices are actually holding on pretty good. On average last month, the Toronto condos only dropped $4,000. So I think it's pretty surprising that they're holding on as well as they are. I think a big reason as to why they are, or maybe why you hear so much about the condo market falling and these opportunities, a lot of the pain that is being felt in the condo market right now is in the pre-construction and assignment market. Pre-construction sales have felt like they have dropped to pretty much zero in comparison to where they were a few years ago. Very few units are actually moving, and the prices are just not making sense for a lot of people with everything on discount in the resale market. And for the most part, when you're hearing about pain out in the condo market or people losing, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, this is happening on assignments. These are the people who bought condos that maybe they couldn't afford to close on, or they bought too many of them, and they're having to walk away from deposits. And even still, looking at those opportunities, which I've looked at with plenty of my investor clients and first-time buyer clients, a lot of times by the time you take away the deposit that they put down, because they paid such a premium for them, especially if they bought them over the last 2-3 years, it still is coming in over the price of an actual resale right now. So those assignments and the pre-construction, they're the ones really feeling the pain right now. And the tricky part about that when it comes to the statistics is all those assignments and pre-construction deals are off-market deals, which are very hard to track the statistics for. So when I say that the average sales price of a condo dropped $4,000 in the month of June, that is the resale market. That is not considering, the opportunities that are out there in the assignment market. And I'll circle back to condos later on in the video when I kind of pull this full circle here. But flipping over to my screen, you can see I actually track on an Excel sheet. Every single month I write down the actual numbers from Treb on an Excel sheet so I can kind of graph it the way I like to see it and present it. So you can see we got detached, semi-detached, townhouses, condo apartments here, and we've got all the average sales price along with the active listings, new listings, all that stuff. So if we look at column F starting there with the detached properties, Detached homes started at $1.826 million and they dropped to $1.758 million. Semi-detaches, very similar, $1.416 million down to $1.282 million. And then the townhouses were $1.044 million down to $1.008 million on average. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the condos dropped $4,000 for the month of June. So all property types took a hit in terms of average sales price. And if we want to take a look at what that actually looks like on a graph here, this is kind of why I do this. You can kind of see we've got the detached homes in the red, we've got the semis in the yellow, we've got the townhouses in the blue, and then we've got the average sales price, just all of them combined in the blue, and then the townhouses in the green, and then condos at the bottom there. So it's actually interesting because, you know, the higher the price point, it looks like it took the bigger hit, and the condos are actually kind of remaining fairly steady considering this influx of inventory that everybody is talking about, and that is existing out there. So the next question naturally is, what relevance do these numbers have on what's going on in the market? You know, are these the interest rates finally taking their tolls on sellers with all the mortgage renewals coming up and people having to move properties? Or is this just simply seasonality that we're seeing every summer and it's just going to start to go back up in September? It's a pretty loaded question, and in order to make an as educated guess on what will happen in the next coming months, you need to understand the seasonality of the real estate market. So just like we have 4 seasons, we got spring, summer, fall, winter, the real estate market also has seasons, and those seasons actually affect average sales price, inventory, everything. Starting off with spring, spring is the biggest season for selling homes. So if you're a seller, you want to sell your home in the spring, and then you want to move in the summer when you have time off, and then your kids can start their school year maybe at a new school because there's a clean break in the summer. So that's why spring is such a popular time to sell your home. Sellers know this, they prepare their homes for spring. Buyers know this, they prepare for spring as well because they know that there's going to be the most available options at that time. We also typically see average sales price increase in the spring because, well, there's more people out, there's more activity, there's more comparables that are closer together, people are fighting for homes, at least in Toronto, and we typically see prices increase. Then what happens is summer. Summer comes, people's minds are, on vacations, holidays, and other things, as they should be. It's maybe not solely on the real estate market. So we do typically see less listings, less new properties coming to market. You are going to see some of the homes that didn't sell in the spring still linger into the summer, but there's going to be less new options coming available. There's also less buyers because there's less options. And again, the buyers are also having vacations, and typically we will see prices decrease in the summer. Then you gear up for fall. Fall is the second biggest season right after spring. A lot of people get their home on the market for the fall season and look to close in October, November, and then things really slow down again right by the holidays where people's minds are just on other things, and we typically see a dip again in average sales price in the winter or the holiday season. And just to give you an idea, I can show you this graph where this is the average sales price over the last, 12 years in the Toronto Real Estate Board. And if you point at any of the peaks and valleys, you can almost always make the assumption that there's some seasonality here. So I'll show you what I mean. I said that things drop off near the holiday season. So December, January is typically a low point. So you can see January 24, you see a dip there. Here we've got August, as I mentioned, summertime there. Again, we go back December, January to the next one. So, July for this one. And you can kind of see that these little dips are always in the summer or the winter, and then the peaks are always in, the early spring or the fall. So taking that all into consideration with the numbers that we just looked at for the month of June, that they all dropped in sales price, can we make the assumption that this is seasonality, or is this, again, the market and the interest rates finally taking their toll on these sellers? And in my opinion, the answer is both. We've got 2 totally different markets right now. We've got condos over here, we've got freehold homes over here. And starting with the condos, they're almost not even really playing by the seasonality rules at this point. I don't think people are like, I'm going to wait till fall to list my condo, because really there's so much inventory already that it's not like if you wait till fall, you're going to see, inventory drop and everybody's going to be fighting for your home. At that point, if you need to sell your condo, whether you sell it in the summer or in the fall, you're likely going to end up with with a bunch of competition. If you need to sell within the next 6 months to a year, you're probably going to run into some inventory problems. So I would argue that, those interest rates that I was talking about earlier, taking their tolls on sellers and renewals, those condo owners are really feeling that, and they're not really waiting for the specific time of year anymore with so many condos already on the market. They're just going to say, you know what, if we need to sell it, it's going to take a little bit longer than what we're typically used to, but let's get it on the market, let's get some showings and see if we can get a fair price. But the freehold side of things is moving totally different. Throughout the spring, we were seeing extremely low inventory, and especially in the hot pockets, within 20, 30 minutes of downtown Toronto, under $1.5 million, you could bet if you put your home on the market and it was in any sort of move-in condition, you're probably getting, at least 5 to 10 offers with an offer date, and it's going to go crazy over ask. But as we run into the summer, inventory is creeping up a little bit. A lot of the homes that were on the market for the spring, they've kind of lingered. There's little coming to the market, but I am starting to see that people are listing homes. Offer days are not working as good as they did in the spring. They're not getting as much attention. And look, if you've got a A++ home, yes, you're going to get a ton of attention. But let's say there's a couple quirks wrong with your house. In the spring, that house would have even got a ton of attention. Where right now, I'm seeing a lot of properties that are coming on with offer dates, and then they are having to make adjustments. If they don't sell on offer day, they're either taking it down, relisting at a higher price, or they're trying multiple offer days and not getting as much traction. So that paints a little bit of an opportunity for those who are looking to get into the freehold market. I mean, think about it really. If you're a freehold homeowner right now and you're hearing all this stuff about the market, why would you list your home in the middle of summer? Okay. When you're hearing all these crazy prices in the spring, that stuff's going to pick up in the fall. I can make the assumption that, a fair amount of people who are going to be coming to market in the middle of summer are going to be probably more motivated than some of the people who are listing in the fall and the spring, because maybe they bought a home elsewhere and they need to close on their home and sell their home before they can buy that other one. Or maybe they are feeling the financial burden of the interest rates, or their mortgage came up for renewal and they need to sell the property. And looking back at my own experiences with myself and my clients, some of the best deals we've ever gotten have been in the summer, and even more specifically, August. August seems to really die off because you're almost so close to the fall season that you're just like, okay, well, if I'm going to list my home and it's August 10th or August 1st or the end of August, you're like, I'm just going to wait until September when things pick up. But it's like, if you're seeing new properties come to the market at that time, you can almost really assure that they are going to be a little bit more motivated. And listen, I'm not advocating that you time the market, okay? Because obviously time in the market is better than timing the market. But for anybody who's maybe invested in the stock market or anything really, do you want to buy on the day that a stock is up in price and that it's green? Or do you want to buy when it's down and in the red? I mean, you always want to buy when it's down and in the red. And sure, over a long enough period of time, the season in which you buy the home will become fairly irrelevant. But I mean, hey, if you can pick up a couple points and get a good deal, why not take advantage? This is my fair warning to anybody who is looking to get into the freehold market. Things are going to slow down in the summer. They actually have already, and they're going to continue to, and they do every single year. And in terms of the numbers that we were talking about, how all property types are down on average sales price, the freehold homes, this is seasonality, okay? This happens every single year. The condo market, there's a lot of inventory right now, and it's kind of playing by its own rules. So seasonality is a little bit more out the window. So I think that you can expect freehold properties to start to increase again in the fall as they typically do. I hope that helps give you an idea of what's actually going on out there and some historical data to support my theory of what may or may not happen, I guess you could say. But for those of you who are looking, happy hunting. I hope you get a wicked deal on something this summer. For those of you who are just like, hey, I'm going to chill until rates come down a little bit more, fair enough. Affordability is tough out there. If anybody has any questions, as I mentioned, the first link down below, feel free. You can reach out and we can have a chat. If not, enjoy your summer. We'll see you on the next one.